Welcome to the channel and this video on the softcore mod for Et Impera 1.2. Now before I get into the details and a demonstration of how it works, I just want to talk about why this mod actually exists. Is probably the best way to describe it. Now if any of you guys played the vanilla game, you'll be very much aware that when you get to the mid or late game, the campaign often becomes a steamroll because all the factions that would stand against you have often collapsed or shrunk to small sizes due to all the faction infighting. And I'll be honest, even on hard and very hard campaigns in the vanilla game, I've got to a point where it's just become boring because I'm just click click click, attack, destroy, click click click, attack. I'm not even bothering to fight the battles because the armies that are coming against you are so trivial that you can just auto resolve your way through. And I'll be honest, I've got to the point where I've just abandoned the campaign and thought, well, I'll go and start something else. And what the mod team for Et Impera 1.2 did is they wanted to make the mid to late game really interesting, and it is really interesting. I can vouch for that in my Egyptian campaign. I'm really late in the campaign and I've still got a tough opponent with Rome. I've got Carthage on one side. I've got other factions that I could take out individually, but if they all dogpiled in on me, I would have a real tough time surviving, and that would almost be another campaign in itself. And I really enjoyed that, and I must admit it's keeping me very engaged in my campaigns. But to do this, what they've had to do is make the AI far more aggressive and give it a few more perks and present more challenges to the player. Now the downside of that is that the nature of Rome 2 is that these are preset parameters. You can't go in and change them halfway through the campaign, even using scripting. I'm not claiming to be an expert on modding, but that's the impression I got. So this is where the softcore mod comes in. Now I'm aware that there are players out there who say, oh, it's a cop-out, and you should be fighting the hardcore and dealing with all this AI aggressiveness. But I'm going to be honest, I play games because I enjoy playing games. That's like all the games I put up on my channel, I play them because I enjoy them, not because they're the latest game that's come out. And I think we're all entitled to have a reasonable start. There's nothing more frustrating than starting with a good faction that you want to play and you just get completely stomped within the first 10 turns with the AI charging in you with big armies and lots of money. And this is the purpose of the softcore mod. Now the softcore mod basically makes some changes which you can then switch off when you've got established. And what I'm going to do now is just go through those changes. So what the softcore mod actually does, it says there's a small reduction in squalor and food penalties. It says lower aggression from our factions. That's the key one. That means that you can build up an empire and you can be friendly relations with adjoining factions. Increase reliability settings for factions. Again, this is the way of actually the factions around you, they're less inclined to declare war, and when you made a trade agreement or a non-aggression, they tend to stick with it. It says increased cultural modifier for diplomacy, which means there's more chance of getting the trade relations. It says lowered AI bonuses and some player bonuses increase. So these are the other bonuses like in fighting and strength and to do with public order. It says increased income for lower imperium and decreased some imperium negatives. So basically the way to look at this mod is it's rebalancing the game for the early stages when you're weak. What we're going to do now is I'm going to play Macedonia. What I'm going to do is go in and normal mode on hard difficulty, show you what Macedonia looks like, play a couple of turns, so what the normal campaign starts with, and then what I'm going to do is come back in again with the softcore mod enabled so you can see the differences. And they are quite subtle differences. They're not massive, but they're enough to give you a chance to survive. And as I say, we're going to play Macedonia. I'll just give a quick run through. So Macedonia's got Alexander's legacy -20 resistance to foreign occupations, successor conflicts plus 10% morale for all units during battles against Hellenic factions. And of course we've got commercial contract leases plus 10% wealth from industrial buildings. And of course this is one of the key ones, Hellenic rivalry, major diplomatic penalty with Hellenic factions cultural aversion. and barbarian subduers plus 10% morale during battles against barbarian tribes. So what I'm going to do now is start the campaign, and what I'll do is I'll just go straight through all the introductions straight onto the map, and I'll see you when we get there, guys. Right, here we are, guys. We're on the campaign map as Macedonia, and you can see Macedonia starts with a single region, Impera, and well, it's not a bad start, and strictly speaking, even on hard mode, it is possible to start this campaign without the softcore mod, but of course the purpose of this video is to demonstrate the softcore mod. You can see here we've got a starting money of 20,000 and 2,026 initial income, and what I would do here, because again this campaign starts with an option for actually just recruit a couple of these guys, because what I'm going to do is blitzkrieg the Anatolian League here, because that's a good way to start this campaign, is to grab this region before everyone else gets in. But you're going to use a lot of your money here just to grab that. But of course the idea of the softcore mod is that you would improve this area, and you can see here the public order is 0. It's not too bad actually for a start. Quite often you start with a negative public order here, but remember this is normal mode. So, but of course the big difference with this, I'm just going to do the here, I always start with recruiting a dignitary, because that will actually convert it. But of course the big difference with between the softcore mode and the normal mode is the fact that you've got all these guys around here. No one likes us there. Well, we've got the Tribili here, and this is the crazy thing. See here, these guys actually like us. I mean, let's go back here. Look, they're 46 friendly. We come here. We are trying to get a trade agreement with them, and well, I mean, we could. I mean, this is one reason why. Okay, maybe we'll give them 1,800. They still want 3,500. Oh well, we'll take it anyway because we're playing it. So with that, we've managed to get a trade agreement with there. But these guys hate us, and you can see here they're minus 63. Here, now you've got to remember these values are often. See, these guys don't like us. Actually, well, what we can try with a trade agreement here. No, rejected. Sparta don't like us. There's a very good chance Sparta will declare war. The two factions that tend to declare war on you on the first turn are the Tololisibrogrithi and Sparta. The Suclids, no, they don't want it either. I mean, I'm going to quite literally go through. Lydia, again, they're neutral, but
for the sake of friendship that has been,
see, again, they're not going to. There, Egypt doesn't like us. They're minus 44. Bithynia, I mean, these people should be friendly towards us, but and they want a payment. Okay, well, accept that, but I don't want to spend too much money because I'm going to need the money for mercenaries.
We will gladly listen to your offers,
oh, that's high.
But do not wrap them in lies.
So
the spirits know truth.
We might be able to get a little bit of cash back. Let's go for the full. Normally you just go to 3,000. Oh well, we'll pay them 240 instead. So we've got a few. I'm not going to make peace with their Epirus. No, we could try.
Be welcome here and speak as you wish without fear.
No. So it pays to even try and get a trade agreement, even when it says your expectation is low. And we've increased our income a little bit. We've got a bit of food now. I'm not going to build anything here on the first turn for a very specific reason, and we're just going to go for an end turn. Mainly just to see if anyone's going to declare war on us. Probably now, because I'm making the video, the Sparta will not declare war on us. I mean, in my two test... yes they have. So Sparta's actually declared war on us. Right, thank you, Sparta. So Sparta's declared war on us for no reason whatsoever. And looks like the Tribili up here have actually passed. Yep. So we're at war with Sparta, and we've got a bit of cash. And of course what I will do here is you've got a bit of cash, and what you do is you hire all the mercenaries and declare war. Get bowling in here. Now if I was playing a normal campaign, I would actually fight this to minimize casualties, because this is a pretty weak army. But of course what I'm going to do here, because this is a wow, we'll just go for a quick auto resolve, and of course we're going to occupy. Now the reason you'd fight this manually to minimize casualties is that you'll see now I'm minus 807. So the first thing I would have to do here is get rid of these expensive mercenaries, because I can't afford to keep them. And that gets my income back, but of course this army is badly damaged, and what I would need to do is recruit the pike line again. Actually no, I think what I'd probably do is merge these guys up. You've got a bit of rank, and I would
It's a good life.
don't want any cavalry, these guys are quite cheap. And what I'd need to do here is I probably, food's not too bad, I think I'd go with the great press there, and of course I would need that there. And as you can see, and these people are even more unfriendly. Athens doesn't like us, Epirus, so we've now got even more hatred all round. And that kind of illustrates the start, guys. I know it looks simple, and strictly speaking you could start Macedonia without the softcore mod enabled, but it kind of shows you the start, guys. But we're already at war with Sparta down here. It's not a major problem, but if, I mean, one test run I did, I had Sparta declare war, and I had these guys up here, the Tribulus of Bogotti, both declared war at the same time, and I couldn't get any trade agreements whatsoever, because there is a slightly random element that actually happens. And of course I've still managed to preserve my income, so we could keep this going. And obviously this area is here, and then of course what you decide to build. But of course you've got Athens as a threat here, and Epirus can be a problem, and of course you need to get out and take Epirus as quickly as possible. So that kind of demonstrates the problems and issues associated with this. I'll just have a quick show through here, guys. As I say, I mean, that wasn't a pretty bad start, but I mean they're minus 70 and falling. These guys here, I don't know if they're actually going to change. No. Right, so that's the start in normal mode on hard. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to quit and come back in softcore mode, just to let you see the differences, guys. I mean, they are quite subtle, but they do make a bit of a difference. So I'll see you in a minute, guys, once I've actually got that done. Oh well, welcome back, guys. We are back in the Macedonian campaign in softcore mode now, and as you can see, the first most apparent impact is the fact that our income has gone up from, I think it was 2,027 a turn to 2,498 a turn. And the other thing also is, if I click on here now, we now got a positive public order here, compared to the fact that it was just close to negative here. And of course we're going to do exactly the same as we did last time. Grab a couple of these guys, recruit them. And again, there's a bit more visibility here. We're just going to bring our agent. What I'll do is I'll put the agent in the army just for a bit of fun this time. And of course, same as last time, always do that. And of course, what we're going to look at is the key influence in diplomacy. Now, what you can actually see here is that, and I think what we can,
you will not object to a cup of wine first.
non-aggression. I mean, I didn't add a non-aggression last time, but nope. And Oops, no.
No warrior
Okay.
likes that. Much ale will be spilled thanks
we
to your
should be able
words
to
of
get.
agreement. My thanks.
Oops, low. Okay.
We do not beg for gold, only ask that we can have trade between us.
Let's see if we can get a little bit out of cash out of them. Yep, they've accepted. So we got that there. And hopefully we will be able to get.
Tongue that speaks without wisdom is
No. Now you've got to remember is that whether you get or whether you get trade depends totally on how friendly people are towards you. Suclids.
Be welcome. If I can give you a fair.
No, Suclids still don't want.
I think trade a bad.
The randomness of this game. I actually, with my test run, I actually managed to get a trade deal with the Suclids. Okay, we'll pay for that. So Bithynia is now got their city here.
Friend. We
And,
will speak together of whatever you wish, but bring words that can warm our hearts.
No,
would
counter
surely
propose.
benefit if we agreed to open trade
Cancel
from
that.
this day on.
Mm.
Well,
They've accepted.
now we have talked long, but we
Yep, got a non-aggression. I'm not gonna do anything with the Anatolian League. Egypt's not still unfriendly. I think the key difference here, guys, I never kind of wrote all these down individually, but they still dislike us, but they don't dislike us as much as they did before, is the way to understand it. So there's less chance of these factions actually declaring war on us on turn 1. I don't think there's anything else we can get here. We could probably try and get a trade deal with.
Be welcome here and speak as you wish.
No, they've rejected.
You would not.
As I say, it is random, guys. So, but you can see we've managed to increase our income a little bit, and I'm just going to roll the end turnover, and we'll see if anyone actually declares war on us on the first turn. Yeah, we actually got through the first turn without actually having anyone declared war, and I think you actually get some better mercenaries actually. And of course we're going to attack straight away, declare war. We've actually got a slightly better auto resolve here, Pyrrhic victory, and of course we're going to. Again, this should really be fought manually. I mean, with those pike lines and all that, with this army, especially these guys, these mercenary hoplites. And of course, we'll get rid of those just to get our income back up. Get rid of the cavalry, and of course the difference here. We'll get rid of these as well. And of course, we'll merge these guys up. And we will recruit. These guys are in reasonable condition, so. And what we get here, some archers. Yeah, so we got a bit more of. I should probably get rid of these guys as well. How much is these? Oh, I don't know. Nah, get rid of them. So we've got an army here. We're still not at war with anyone. So, and we've got no allies, but that kind of shows you the difference. And of course now we can get down to here. Probably actually, now we got food's good. We've got that there. So I think I'd probably go with that, and that, and that. You can see how much difference the extra cash makes with the startup, and the fact that you can now build much. And of course what I would do now is consolidate these first, get the public order underway, because of course we got a public conquest hit here of -15, which means we're going to have to take a little bit of damage. I think we're good culturally, yes. So then I'd play a few more turns on, get this stable, and of course my agent here would come over and keep an eye on Epirus, because I would want to consolidate this whole province by taking Apollonia from Epirus before I actually come. And of course by declaring war on Epirus, who are currently at war with Rome, Carthage and Rome. Actually it says we found Carthage. Okay, we found Carthage yet? No, neither of these are discovered, but by getting that we would meet Carthage and Rome and we could start building up some good relations with them. And I think this is where I'm going to bring the video to an end, guys. I mean, sorry that I can't show any detail, but this is the nature of the Softcore mod. It has positive effects, mainly with the diplomacy, which allows you to build up relations with these, because obviously if I was going forward I'd take Epirus. Once I've captured Epirus, my next target would be Sparta and Athens, because I'm never going to get good relations with these Athens and Sparta. There's no point pretending otherwise, because if I click here, well, I don't know, Athens is neutral. Sparta is actually improving, because we was like that, and I could gain more by fighting Epirus. So yeah, I suppose it is possible that I can actually make friends with Athens and Sparta. I can assure you guys, if you're not using the Softcore mod, you would need to take out Athens and Sparta very, very quickly, because they're going to be a real thorn in your side until you actually destroy them. So that's something to consider. But obviously with the Softcore mod you could actually work with Sparta and then maybe put all your attention on these guys and come out and take this area. Capturing Thrake is a very, very good way to start the Macedonian campaign, but that's not the purpose of this video, and this is where I'm going to leave it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you found it interesting. As I say, don't regard the Softcore mod as a cheat. It has a very, very specific purpose in making the starts easier, especially if you're kind of doing some of the more isolated single region factions, especially in that's up around here with the barbarians, or a good one also if you really want to be really brave is if you want to start a Syracuse wedged between the Romans and the Carthaginians. With the Softcore mod on, you've got a chance of making peace with either one or the other and getting a little bit of protection from them during the initial start. And it also applies over here if you want to play Parthia or some of the factions on the edge of the Sucalid Empire, because it improves your chances of getting a working relationship. I think a good one to fiddle around with you kind of thing is Pontus, which is roughly here, or another one which I keep meaning to play because it's quite intriguing is Armenia. Armenia is quite an interesting start as well, and especially in this area here where there's a lot of kind of quarrelsome factions here, with Egypt starts there, and say if you play Pergamon, but I'm getting distracted. That's a quick overview of the Softcore mod. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.